there, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my review, my honest, raw experience at the Dr. Joe Advanced Retreat. What I'll reveal today is kind of the things that I found were really transformational, really incredible, blew my mind. And then other things that I thought, yeah, that definitely could be improved. Maybe you're just getting to know Dr. Joe. Maybe this is like the first video, you've heard his name and you're like, who is this guy that everybody keeps talking about? Maybe you've read some of his latest books, which I will list below. I'll list a lot of his resources down below in the comments. Or maybe you have been doing some of his meditations. I actually started with one of his apps. So let me share with you my experience. So a friend of mine, Katie, and I, we found out he was doing the Advanced Retreat, which is like 7 days. It's pretty full on. And we had to actually do the progressive online first. So what he'd done is obviously recorded him at a previous progressive event and some other stuff there, and you had to have gone through his things, because the plan is that when you arrive at the Advanced Retreat, you are expected to have some sort of baseline knowledge of Dr. Joe's work. So when he's talking, it's not totally all going like over your head. Trust me, there were some times where he was like, you know, it's kind of funny when he presents, like he'll say something and then he goes, now turn to the person next to you and explain what I just said. And I'm like, I have no idea. But it was cool because he would explain things in different scenarios or with different analogies all the time. So by the end, I think most of us, or if not all of us, really understood his body of work that he was trying to teach throughout the retreat. So I definitely feel like I've come back a totally different person. I actually had to have a couple of days, like I didn't come home and just jump into work. I felt like I needed a couple of days of integrating. So I've spent some couple of days at the beach, journaling, and asking myself some questions that make me dig deep. So I'm going to give you the questions I've been asking myself as well. But let's get to the retreat. Like, what happened? I'm going to share with you some photos and videos of what happened as well. So let's get into the review. When we turned up, I absolutely loved the location. So it was the Novotel Twin Waters, I think it's called, on the beautiful Sunshine Coast, about 10 minutes from the airport. So fabulous location. It's kind of got this beautiful waterfront area and then only sort of 2-3 minute walk to the actual surf beach. So that was gorgeous because we did some meditations on the beach early morning later in the week, but I'll tell you about that in a second. The first day was kind of just a half day. We rocked up in the afternoon, we went into the center. The hotel itself is not like the newest, flashiest hotel. It's an incredible location. The grounds are just spectacular, beautiful, lush. There's kangaroos around, like, oh my God, beautiful flowers. Like it was just, yeah, it was beautiful location. Anyway, we kind of had to walk through these pathways to get to the room, which is called the Wandini room that we went to. And when Dr. Joe came in, of course, everyone's like, what? Super excited to actually see him in person. I have seen him in person before at a My Lead System Pro event. The guy who's the CEO of My Lead System Pro, Brian Finale, is my friend, and he got me onto Dr. Joe in the first place a couple of years ago. So thank you, Brian. So Dr. Joe got in there and he just like went straight into the information. And what I recognized is you really did have to know your baseline of information. So they really expect that you've done the progressive course training online. Yeah, he kind of just moves on with stuff that and talks about things as if like, you should already know that sort of thing. So yeah, you kind of do have to have a baseline of knowledge of his work already. So that was day one and all good. Then we went and had some dinner. There's some beautiful local restaurants and bars like on site. The bar was really cool. They had some great food. Then day two hit us. Yeah, I thought, you know, I know meditation, like I'm into this. And yeah, we were doing hour to 1.5 hour meditations, and we were doing like 3 a day minimum. So that's like 4.5 hours of meditation per day. I got my meditation muscle much stronger by the time I was left for the week. But yeah, so that was cool for the first couple of days. Thursday and Friday, we had these incredible, beautiful beach meditations. We all had to meet at the beach at 5 a.m. We all watched the sunrise, and then we all had the meditations like on our phone. So they would just kind of indicate to us, yes, press play. The meditation was like you stand there and you close your eyes and you just listen. It's like a guided visualization. They transition you through to this walking meditation. Obviously you open your eyes, but you're in very much of a like trance state. Like you can snap yourself out of it, but you're very focused on just what you're doing. So you're not really looking at the 700 other people that are also walking on the beach or doing this beautiful meditation, which I really got into the energy of that. Like it was just beautiful to see 700 people on the beach, all just there opening their hearts and really just shifting their energy. After that, I didn't realize this. We had an activity to do. And so I haven't watched any videos of other stuff of Dr. Joe's, so I didn't know we had a physical activity. And I was like, what? What are they going to make us do? Like, oh, see, this is going to be challenging. And I just, you know, when you're like, I'm not mentally prepared. So I wasn't really up for that. And they wouldn't tell us what it was, but they did say one is about leaving your past behind and the other one was about leaping into your future. And they said one is about heights and one is about strength. And I was like, oh, far out. And I just knew the leaping one, and I'll show you a couple of photos here. I knew what it was going to be. It was one of those damn poles that you climb up and it's really wobbly and you got nothing to hang on to, and then you have to leap off and jump into the trees and tap some bloody stupid thing that's hanging from the trees. Well, yes, that's exactly what it was. And I thought, well, that's freaky for me. That's a scarier one. Damn it, I'm going to have to do that one. Because I knew that if I did it, I would be really, really proud of myself. And I know that it's so much about freedom and going into my future for me. So I had to do that one. Just like a challenge. And the point of this is, it's all great to meditate with eyes closed or in a calm situation when you're walking on a beach. What you've got to try and do here is regulate the breath, is regulate your mind to be able to get through challenges in your life, even when the flight or fight or fear response activates in your body. So it's this mind over matter thing, totally, right? Then we did some other meditations which were really intense. Now, I didn't know that we were going to be doing 4-hour meditations. I found one of them really beautiful, great, blissful. The other one I found super challenging. I struggled to get in to really an incredible zone, you know, into just that bliss feeling. I didn't see any visual stuff. And this meditation was about activating the pineal gland, which can induce things like mystical experiences. Now, I'm pretty used to experiencing that stuff. I see lots of visions in my meditation, so I've experienced that stuff anyway. But here I was super uncomfortable. So one of the cons that I would say about the whole event, and I do understand why now, is that I don't feel their room was big enough, because there's times where we had to lie on the floor and people bought blankets and pillows and whatever, but there wasn't enough room in the room. And now they did acknowledge this issue and promised to rectify it for the next event. So I'm pretty comfortable that they know some of the things where they, you know, could have done better at. One of the other things, we did another walking meditation. And this was before what we call a coherence healing type meditation, okay? This was super beautiful. Oh my God, I got all the feels from these ones. This was part walking as well. We went out onto this beautiful field. The only thing that I would recommend that they could do better is, because again, we were listening from our phones or from our devices, and so we were trying to all start at the same time. And I really think that they could have given better visual cues in a way that everybody would actually start on the same time. The only other thing I didn't like, which I don't think you can change this because I completely understand why, but I love wearing essential oils. I don't wear perfumes and stuff, but they have this big rule about not wearing any strong perfumes, essential oils, or strong scents that really annoy everybody else. And that's just like, oh well, what can you do when you're hanging in a room with 700 and I think it was actually 750 people. There was a couple of people. There was one guy at the back and he still decided to just like potent everybody with his oils. And I was kind of more annoyed about him than I was about not being able to use the oils myself. But at the end I was like, yes, I can use my oils again. So, but you know, that's just part and parcel of being considerate of other people when you're at a big conference. I had a beautiful experience in one of my meditations which gave me this incredible healing. I'll share it with you. It was actually one of the beach meditations and I was visualizing, well, I wasn't trying to do anything. Here's the thing, is that it's not so much about you trying to make anything happen at all, right? It's about allowing and just doing the work. And you know, you might not be a real visual person in your meditations. You might feel things, you might hear things, you might just sense things. I see like visions, you know, in my mind. And I had this vision of these white light energy kind of coming down my energy centers and down sort of the, I guess the second bottom half of my spine and around those three energy centers down the bottom there. And at the end of this white light was like these hands. It was like white light hands twirling down my body, and I was just like, whoa. Totally like blissing out, right? And then in that, the white hands started to like crack on my sort of spine. It was almost giving me like this spiritual manipulation. And if you know Dr. Joe, you know, he was a chiropractor, and I was like, oh my God, I got like a spiritual energetic adjustment, chiropractic adjustment, which I kind of was like, then, you know, I'm laughing about it. I thought it was hilarious, but it made me feel so free, so blissful. I've had a huge blockage in those energy centers for a long time. So a physical reaction from all that, for about 4 days, I couldn't stop moving. And so like my whole body is like dancing and my hips are just swaying all the time, and I'm sitting in the conference and my feet are like tapping, and I was like, what is with this extra energy? You know, I couldn't stop moving sometimes. And yeah, I feel like it was just a massive freeing up of all this blocked energy. So I feel so happy. Oh my God, I was on a high for so long after that. Yeah, the next day's meditation wasn't my favorite one, but then the one after that was super gentle, and I felt like, oh, that was super gentle and nurturing, and I feel great again. So, all in all, oh my gosh, money definitely well spent. Incredible that we got to spend so much time diving deep. The lectures that Dr. Joe was talking about, with all the scientific evidence that he's done, all the experimentation that he's done with the brain and all that sort of stuff up until this point, gave me such a great reference as to understanding the spiritual experiences that I was having. So, you know, I guess what he does is, you know, I've learned a lot of the spiritual things about meditation, but to understand them on a scientific level, on a physical level, on a level of matter, it makes me just have this deeper understanding and so much satisfaction about that I'm doing something that will move me forward in my life. Okay? I don't know if that even made sense. Just everything yeah, blew my mind, made sense. Things are flowing more naturally in my life. People that are bothering me, sorry, strike that. People that were bothering me, like, I just didn't care. And I just sorted it out, and I was like, whatever, you know? So it will sort itself out. And I know now I have so much more conviction about spending more time in meditation, spending more time up in the void, and really connecting with that universal energy. So I'm super, super grateful. Oh my gosh, I'm just in bliss, just in intense gratitude for the experience that I was able to have. I will pop some of the resources that I've talked about in the comments below. Yeah, I absolutely recommend this. It's pretty intense. It's a lot of information, but he does say it over in different ways that everybody gets it and gets people engaged. He did have a Q&A, a very, very short Q&A. I would prefer a Q&A session. I wish that was part of it. And one thing that I was disappointed about, The disappointment was I didn't get a photo with Dr. Joe because you're not allowed to, well, I kind of snuck a selfie one. You're not allowed to take photos or videos in the conference, which I totally understand. But what I do wish, and I understand he can't take photos with everybody and he may not want to spend his time doing that, but we were in big groups of 50 people. So I do kind of feel like that he could have come round to each group and just taken a photo with the group, or even a photo with the whole group, maybe all of us when we went on the beach. Like, just do a big group photo with a freaking drone or something. I don't know. I just felt a little bit disappointed about that. I've been to other conferences and there's always an opportunity to go and have a professional photo or some sort of photo with that person. You know, you might be waiting in a big line, but even with Bob Proctor, like, I got to interview Bob Proctor and I kind of manifested that. But we also got to line up to have a photo. Like, he specifically made a time to have photos of people that had come to the event. And again, you know, Dr. Joe might not be into that. Maybe he feels that's an ego thing. I don't know. I just want a photo with him. So that was my only disappointment, really. As you can tell, I'm super happy. I feel like I came home a completely different person. I have sat down, gone to the beach, meditated, really reflected and on my time at the event and thought about, you know, am I doing what I really am passionate about? Is it lighting a fire in my soul? I wrote down this question, which I think is a really good question. Ask yourself, what makes me feel closer to spirit? Because whenever I feel closer to spirit or my spiritual self or, you know, my oneness, I move forward so much more freely and with much more passion and fun and happiness and just oneness in my life. So I wrote down all the things that I find fun, and like, fun is a real fulfillment need for me. So, you know, it might not be for you, but, you know, animals is something that makes me feel that closeness to spirit. And I include my cat in my videos. And you love it, don't you, Daisy? So I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe gave you a bit of an insight into going to a Dr. Joe Dispenza advanced retreat. It was super amazing. Yeah, I'll definitely be going to another one of his events. So if you like this video, click the like button. And if you have any comments about, you know, your experiences at a Dr. Joe Dispenza event, or maybe you've seen him talk somewhere, let me know what it was like or where you're going to next. And have an amazing day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.